Hey, everybody. What's happening? I am Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. Analytical Blarney says, just a reminder, you are loved, valued, and wanted by many. Thank you for being the most amazing chosen family on these YouTube streets. I love that. And I'm going to hit the other super chats when we get to the end because we've got a ton of stuff we're going to be doing. Dan C., Kathy Ann, I know I have more super chats up there, but we're going to hit them at the end. Kathy Ann, good to see you. Allison Metcalf Palumbo. Kathy Ann, thank you for the amazing work you're doing with the shorts. Absolutely love them. Egrids, good to see you. Jason P. Shelly Kelly, there you are. I am glad you are here. Check this out. What's happening? That's right. See that? That is a cat cleaning its paw. That's a good girl, huh? On demand. On demand. She's a consummate professional. Miss Sunrise Dawn, good to see you. Ann from Massachusetts. What's happening? V. McWilliams. The trip's captain. Smitty, what's up? Tommy Bird. You're staying in your lane? Layla says she's staying in her lane. Monica M., good to see you. Carl Barnhart. Kathy, how are you? West Coast Fancy Nancy, good to see you. That would be Kathy Santoni, by the way. Megan makes sense. That would be Lisa from Jersey. And we got you. We got you. Bacon Bits, Ben Turner says, because Chat GPT says journaling is a good idea and has considerable booger flicking advice. Well, there you go. I would be really surprised if it doesn't mention the lifeboat while it's saying that. I mean, Chad and I are tight at this point, I think, right? He's got to know who we are. Good to see you, Anita Card. Hey, Kestrel, what's happening? Midwest Kid Doc, how are you? Hello, Heather Clark. Yeah, I'm glad I'm on tonight. Cooler by the Lake, good to see you. Pruitt, what's happening? From Melbourne, Australia. I love it. Casey, good to see you. Beautiful watch today, Casey. Kim is Blue, good to see you. Caroline, in the moment. That would be this moment, I assume. Gemini Girl, yep. Squirrel says good evening to all. Hey, there's Mary. Good to see you. Dee Dee Razzle Dazzle. Yeah, I love seeing Squirrel, right? She makes my day. And Carnosol, good to see you. Dawn Gloves, how are you? Sweet Liberty, good to see you. Kestrel, hello, Anna. Robin Miners is here. Jen Nelson's here. Cricket, what's happening? Hey, Kim Roy. Margie, I live for now. I think we're almost there. Anna Banana, what's happening? I think that may be it. No, Izzy E, 7th, Ladybug Melissa, cooking with that grandma, Zelda, and Brazy. How you been, Brazy? Hello, Janet. So, I'm sure that everybody's going to, everybody's got opinions on the stay in your lane thing and where I'm going to be going with that, right? But it may not be where you think it is. Did you get the photo of the cool ring wall? I did. Yes, Cricket, I did get a picture of that. I've actually worked on a few of those in my time. Fancy Nancy, that would be East Coast Fancy Nancy. We have both Fancy Nancys in the house. Well, all right. Piano Mom, I was thinking about you today. Here are my thoughts and prayers. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well in that beautiful corner of the world. Tampa B Man is in the house. How are you? Tampa B is in the house. I'm always in my lane. I may be all over the road, but whatever lane I'm in is my lane. That's the spirit. I'm just taking mine out of the middle. Sounds like something I might have said in my heyday. Now I can sleep because I'm listening to him breathe with an unhealthy obsession. All right. Yeah, I get that. The chat is on fire. You got to love that, don't you? Yay! Do Nancy's. Yep. Lady Tina Marie, good to see you. All right, people. What do you say we fire this thing up? You know what? There really is a lot going on. Auntie Wombat, good to see you. There is a lot going on. Miss Weedlepoo, good to see you. Good to see you. Debbie P, how's it going? Doing all right? Huh? I hope so. Tribe Called Duff, wouldn't be a party without you. I'm sure glad you showed up. I really am. Welcome. Jay Rambo, how you doing? Doing okay. Good, good, good. Journaling scares me. I'm afraid of what might come out. You know what? That is the only legitimate reason to be afraid of journaling. No joke. When people say I'm afraid of journaling, I always go, man, there's nothing to be afraid of. You have nothing to be afraid of with journaling. That's absolutely legit. I mean, you might not be prepared for what's going to come out. That's legit. But that's why you journal, right? You journal to poke a hole in the side of that and let it all out, because if not, it'll tear a hole up. Get out of there on its own. We normally, when we talk about staying in your own lane, right, we talk a lot about minding your own business. You know what I mean? We talk about not judging other people, especially when you first get sober. It's something that we talk about a lot when we first get sober, because, and you all know somebody who quit drinking on Monday, and on Wednesday they're like, man, friggin' alcoholic. Dude's had like 7 beers, man. There's nothing I hate worse than somebody that's all sloshed. And you're like, dude, that was you on last weekend. Like, you know, now you're holier than thou. It's an ugly look. You got to admit, it really is. It's a fairly unhealthy look. But however, this isn't what I'm talking about this time. When I'm talking about staying in your own lane, I'm talking about comparison. I'm talking about the absolute thief of joy. When we start comparing ourselves to people, hey, I posted a video of the Facebook group, a fun cover of a Bee Gees song. Well, I will have to check that out. I will absolutely have to check that out. A lot of us. Oh, you know what? Thoughts and prayers for you, Miss Sunrise Dawn. I will keep him in my thoughts and prayers. I'm so sorry. Tony Suter, good to see you. We're the first generation. Well, I guess we're probably into the 3rd generation. We're the first group of people in the history of this globe, right, where we could be jealous of people we've never met. We could be jealous of people in other countries who we're never going to meet, right? We have a whole new way of comparing ourselves to other people that has never been here before, right? This has never happened. Facebook came out, and you all know what Facebook was in the beginning, for real. You know the story of it. It was not a particularly nice way to start anything. It was a way for guys to rate chicks that they've been sleeping with and stuff like that. Kind of a nasty thing. Turned into this Meta thing. Pretty decent sized company. The guy's kind of rich. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. But when Facebook first came out, it seemed like it was a way for grandparents. Hey, Packer. Was that Packer girl? Good to see you. It was a way for grandparents to look at grandkids and watch videos. And it was also a way for guys who were 65 and gals who were 65 to look up that girl or guy in high school that got away. And now that your husband is divorced and your wife is divorced, or you're on your 3rd divorce, or whatever the case may be, you take that trip down memory lane and start looking at the one that got away. Remember that? Okay. Well, this is one of those things that the new world that we live in, this is getting elevated to an art form. And the reason is, in the old days when we were keeping up with the Joneses might have bought a car that they couldn't afford, right? They may have gone a little bit deeper on the payments than they should have. Maybe they're not taking vacations as often as they should. Maybe the kids aren't getting braces on their teeth, right? But the problem with Facebook is it is all an illusion. That's right. Now, when your neighbor was faking it a little bit, right? That's different. Maybe he was buying, he was shopping a little bit out of his price range to look like he was a little bit cool. Now you could BS an entire life wholesale, whole cloth, right? Forget about it. You don't need anything. And this happens every day. I mean, there are people photoshopping nicer clothing onto themselves so that they can put up posts. What the hell is going on in this world? Kristen Melinda, good to see you. Filters create false reality. You're damn right they do. But you know what? If filters were all we were talking about, bring back the days of just filters, right? It's not like that, though. The other thing that's just horrific is if you looked at anybody else's, Facebook, you know what you're going to find? Friggin' bliss. Huh? Bliss. My daughter is what, 22, on her way to school. She's getting straight A's. Look at her, for God's sakes. She looked like she just stepped off the cover of one of those fitness magazines. Here's my son, summa cum laude, all of that tripe. He's on his way to college on a full scholarship. Right? He's thinking of studying, I don't know, biochemistry or some such shite. Everything is like it's like that Christmas postcard that you used to mail out, right? Where it tells you what everybody in the family's doing and it's all BS. Except now you're doing it every friggin' day. Fake book, I like it, right? Fake book. Now, as if Facebook wasn't bad enough, right? Because it is, it sucks. But it's just now one of how many platforms? I mean, I hear the kids talk about it, and they're talking about platforms I've never even friggin' heard of. Like I don't even know half of these. Like Instagram, obviously, and Snapchat, and all of that crap. There's just so many different avenues and different ways that we can compare ourselves to other people who don't exist. It's not bad enough that we used to compare ourselves to these unbelievable, these Hollywood icons, right? And everything on them is bolt on. It's all aftermarket, right? The rack is fake. That now their butt's fake. Everything there, it's all fake. But at least you could look at them and go, well, come on, man, right? So it's a Hollywood starlet. She's probably been liposuction. She's probably had, her rack's been fixed, her butt's been fixed, her teeth's been done, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? Everybody's been doing that since Hollywood started, right? I'm no Brad Pitt, right? You're no Jennifer Aniston. It's just kind of how it works, right? Except now it's everybody. Now, how many friends you got on Facebook? Oh, I don't know, 3,500, 4,000, something like that. Well, what happens if you start actually like buying into this crap? So you're looking at these people's posts and going, wow, man, the Joneses are really doing freaking well, man. The last 4 times they've posted, it's been on vacation, right? They won't even eat freaking dinner without sending out a beautiful picture. Like, check out the display on this. Huh? This is sea bass on a bed of couscous, right? I'm going to take a picture of it before I eat it because I want all of you to be jealous of the meal I'm getting ready to scarf. What the hell is wrong with us? For real. You take a picture of your food before you eat it? Guess what? If you do that, there's something wrong with you. I'm not picking on you here in front of everybody because I'm not going to call you out by name if it's you, but think about it. Why the hell does anyone in the world want to see what you're eating before you eat it? Is it just a way to, what's Quibs always call it? Dick swinging? Is it just a way to try to be cooler than the next guy or gal? I don't know, but comparison is the thief of joy. It's a great quote. I'm not kidding you. It is a great quote, people. Stop comparing yourself to other people, especially people that don't exist. For real. You're not looking at these people's lives. Have you ever seen a post and the post is a picture of a dad with his head in his hands like this and standing behind the mom is screaming her ass off and she's holding a bag of meth, right? And there's a kid standing there with that guilty look on his face. Have you seen that post? Because I haven't seen that one, right? Or how about the post where the daughter is saying, hey, guess what? I'm pregnant. They don't take that picture. Here's my 16-year-old daughter showing us her ultrasound. I don't think that one's getting posted. What do you think? I think they should have to. I'm not kidding. If you're going to show 14 pictures of you in Bora Bora, right, and space them out over 6 months so it looks like you're on vacation every other weekend, then you should have to put some of the real trash from your life in there too. I'm sorry, but this fake crap that we're putting out there for the world is just disgusting, if you ask me. Unless it's a waffle from Waffle House, says Anna Banana. And you know what? How do you argue with that? I mean, for real. Well played, Anna Banana. Well played. I don't know how I can't argue with that. Anita Card says, I won't lie. I take pictures of food. If it's beautifully plated and aesthetic, but only for reference for me to recreate. Okay, well, that's different. I mean, you're not firing it off to 9 of your friends, right? Who you know are probably home cooking top ramen. And that's really, I mean, that's what most people are doing. It's like, hey, check this out. Look at this thing. This is a 5-star chef. I'm at a restaurant that has won a Michelin award 7 years running. How's that top ramen? Spice it up a little bit. Hit it with some Tabasco. Live a little. Cricket, I think you get a pass on that too. Cricket says I take pictures of food when I'm on vacation so that I can show clients. Again, I think you get a pass on this. And I'll tell you something else. I think you can take a picture of your food on vacation just because you're on vacation. But you know the people I'm talking about. Every friggin' time they go out to eat, it's like, hey, this is what I'm eating. And the wife's doing the same thing. It's like, what the heck are you doing? And even worse, why are we looking at it? Like the first time somebody does that, we should just be able to write, you're far too much of an asshat for me to follow you anymore on Facebook. For real. Of all of the people in the world, I don't want to compare myself to you anymore. I mean, admittedly, it's a low bar, but I just don't want to do it. Or, hey, this is my new car. Good. Let's get a look at your finances. How much did you pay for that car? How much did you put down? What are you carrying on it monthly? I'm not kidding, right? No Face says, they post when they take one bite and then take a picture of the plate like, yummy. This avocado toast with sun-dried tomatoes is delish. All right. I love it when somebody joins in. Well played, Not Face. Wait a second, Not Face? Not Snot Face. It can't be. Why is my wife seriously getting hotter and hotter as she gets older and I get more decrepit and out of shape? Definitely grown more out of my league. You know what? That's a good thing. And the fact that you realize that, right, is a good thing too. Thank you to all of my mods who work really, really hard. Dan C says, one thing I was always asked, why the heck do you care about what strangers on the internet think of you? Something to really ask ourselves. Hold on a sec. Why do I care what people on the internet? I'm kidding. It's kind of my occupation. I was being a smartass, but no, I agree with you. I really do. And it would be one thing. I mean, honest to God, it's one thing if you're really tight with these people, but for the most part, isn't this just a way to like passive aggressively shame people that you only see once or twice a year? I'm not being funny. I mean, it really is what it is, isn't it? This is kind of I don't know. I bowed out of it. I mean, I have a Facebook page, obviously, and I have a fairly big Facebook page. But if you go over and look at it, I can't remember the last time I posted anything. Christine Baker. Oh, you want to hear something? Look, Christine Baker, this is legit. She says, I take pictures of food for Google Maps so people can see what kind of food they serve in certain restaurants. You know something? There's a crew member on the lifeboat from the very, very early days, Lady Fiona Crispin. And no one in history has done that more than her. I'm not being funny. She won some kind of an award from Google Maps for having done that in more places, honestly, than anybody in her country, which is pretty cool. They gave her some kind of award and something they mailed to her. It's pretty cool. Tommy, by the way, that's why my charcuterie boards are so infamous. Wink, 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 hint, hint. Got it. Got it. Geez, where would I use one of those? You love that they make waffles thin with peanut butter chips. I've not seen thin waffles, but that is that literally is making me want to stomp my foot like a rabbit. If it's brag book and it's very fake, you're damn right it is. All the humble brags are too much. It's true. That is what TV commercials already try to get you to compare yourselves to others and convince you that you aren't happy until you buy, right? Well, guess what? That's the exact same thing that they're doing on the internet all the time, right? You know the old adage: if you go and you find something on the internet and they're not charging you anything, right? They're going to let you use it for free. You're the product. right? That's the internet. That's the entire business model. If they're letting you use their service, their app, their whatever, and they're not charging you $1 to do it, you're the product. They're going to take you in. They're going to harvest all your information. They're going to sell that stuff. And think about what a perfect setup it is on the what are they calling it? Meta these days, right? On Meta. You go in there and you go, ooh, cool. Check it out, man. Rolex watches, love those. Check it out. This kind of watch company, love it, right? And you're hitting like and all of these things that, right? And I'm telling them exactly what I like. I'm telling them what they can market to me, right? I'm telling them where my price points are. I'm handing them all of that over on a bucket, right? Voluntarily. They don't have to ask me any questions. I'll just keep hitting like. And I'm going to tell them everything I want. Do you know how I know that that is the truth? Because I used to buy those. I used to buy clicks. And you would say to them, all right, I want people who have visited this, this, and this, right? Because we're targeting a specific thing. And I want them to be preferably married between the ages of this and this. I mean, you can specify those clicks down to you wouldn't believe how specific. And why not? Right? Why not? We walk in and go like this, free stuff, take all of our clothing off, stand there and say, take what you want, right? When you're done stealing all of my info and pulling everything out of the pocket, give me back my clothes. I'll put it back on and walk out of here. From here, I'll be going to Instagram where they're going to do the same thing, right? Yeah. Reading glasses need sleep more. You know what? I could use some more sleep too, to be honest with you. Stop comparing yourself to others. It's going to destroy your serenity. Familiar with this concept? Serenity? It's directly tied to your happiness, and it is directly tied to everything else good. Trying to stay sober? Trust me, serenity is your best friend, right? A Tribe Called Duff says, I gave up looking at magazines decades ago because they made me feel miserable. And why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Because number one, they start with people that, I mean, almost scientifically symmetrical, right? Because apparently that's what we find attractive. I mean, as a species, if everything is kind of symmetrical, that's usually what starts off as, hey, that's kind of attractive. But then they pare it down and they say, okay, she's perfect, except for her hips, which we're going to shave an inch off of each side with just the magic of airbrush. We're just going to clean that up a little bit. And this body part here, maybe make it just a little bit bigger and maybe change some color here. I'm not kidding. I've told you the story before, but I knew a girl who was a Playboy bunny, and I had the opportunity to see her in real life, and then I had the opportunity to see her in a magazine, and then in real life, and then in a magazine. And I had the opportunity to compare that over a period of time, and they were not the same people. And the first time I looked at the magazine, and I sort of looked at her, and she went, "Yeah, I don't look anything like that." I said, "No, you really don't." But I've talked about this a million times, right? I really have. I've talked about this a million times. But we have been put and held up to these standards that don't exist our entire life. We really have. I mean, look at the stuff that they sell on runway models, right? You see all of the beautiful designs that go down the runway. What percentage, right, of women on Earth could fit into those? For real. And the sizes that they make, what percentage? They're making that for what percentage of the world? It's the silliest crap ever. And who decided that was hot? Because I'll tell you something. Now that this internet and everything else is going, that's changing. It's changing really quickly. What people think is hot now you don't have to say, okay, well, this is what they put in magazines, so I'm gonna go with that, right? That's cool. Or this is what they put. That's my other option. Now, if you're like, you know what? I like blonde girls, right? But they have to have brown eyes, and they have to be wearing a kilt with white socks, and they have to be carrying a field hockey stick in one hand and a trout in the other. I promise you, there's a website somewhere, right, or 100 websites somewhere with thousands of people that are visiting who are grooving to the exact same thing. If we learned anything from the internet, it's that no matter how weird you are, there's somebody else out there to go, yeah, no, yeah, and verify exactly what you're saying. For real. That's what the creepy internet's for. Now, don't get me wrong, people. I'm not suggesting that that staying out of people's business is a bad thing, right? It really is a pretty good idea to stay in your lane as well, right? As far as that goes. But honestly, not only would I recommend that you do not compare yourself to others, because again, it is the thief of joy. But how about don't play into it? You understand what I'm saying? If you're not going over there and looking at your friend's fake bliss page, maybe don't make one of your own, right? Don't keep that BS going down the line, right? Because it's pretty awful if you ask me. Jay Rainbow says, I was in modeling as a teenager and the agency said I was too curvy and may consider Playboy in the future. 1980s, wow. The 80s. They're so mean to aging TV and movie stars, and we're all getting older too. So it pushes buttons, triggers sadness. Suzanne Lynn, to be sure, right? Absolutely. It's kind of funny, isn't it? I mean, you ever go to a rock concert, right? And you see a band from like the 80s, right? Because that was my era. And you see the people from like the Thompson Twins, great example. I saw the lead singer from the Thompson Twins, and he was out singing "Hold Me Now." Yeah, he doesn't quite hit the notes the way he used to, but I looked at him and went, "Holy crap! Did he get old?" Right? And as I said it, it occurred to me that if he was looking at a picture of me, right, from when that song was a hit, he'd be looking down and going, "Damn, Tommy, what the hell happened to you, man?" Right? You were so young the last time you saw us. Yeah, it's like for some reason we feel like they should remain the same, right? We continue to stay the same, but they all age. It's a really funny phenomenon. They're in their 80s now. Isn't that crazy? You know, it's a very funny clip. I've talked about this before. But when I was in high school was when Jefferson Airplane was becoming Starship, right? Jefferson Starship. And after a really huge tour, they did the Knee Deep in the Hoopla tour. And they were on top of the world. I mean, they were selling out arenas, and it looked like they could probably do it for another decade or whatever. And Grace Slick pulled the plug. She's like, "I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore." And I mean, at the top of her game. And I saw her interviewed, and the guy said, "Why would you do that?" And she said, "Because it's a young person's game." Right? She said, "Rock and roll is not for the elderly." I swear to God, she said, "Can you imagine Mick Jagger at 70 strutting across the stage?" She said that in the 80s. Man, yes, yes. The question is, can you imagine him in his 80s? Right? Because they're not going to stop until they fall down on stage. And they shouldn't. Honestly, the Stones sound good. They really do. They sound good. I think if you can keep making the music, why not, man? Get paid. Kristen Melinda says, "I'm sorry, but I'm still hung up on the blonde girl with brown eyes, a kilt, white socks, a field hockey stick, and a trout." Yeah, well, I'm telling you, if that's what you're into, there's a site out there for you. I'm not saying I've been there. I'm just saying there's one out there. Nat B, good to see you. Hey, Dale Cox. Wow, I like it, brother. That's a really hot pepper. That ought to make a fire tincture. I don't know if you know this, Dale, because I keep one foot in the chili world, and I very rarely lean on that foot, right? Because I'm tired of getting burned. I'm tired of being Johnny Scoville's little brother. But when I was trying to prove myself back in the day, I drank an entire bottle of tincture. And I did it on I don't know how many occasions, but I did it. I did it far too often. I mean, if you do it once, it's too often, but I'm pretty sure I did it at least 3 times, maybe even 4. Um, oh my God. Miss Dragon says, "We need some prayers or ones, right? We're in a level 2 evacuation notice and I'm not leaving." Well, then you have got my prayers and my thoughts and everything else. It's a young person's game. Tell that to Bruce Springsteen, right? The boss. I mean, hell, what the saxophone for the the saxophonist for the E Street Band is now it's the big man's kid, isn't it? Clarence Clemens' son, I think, now plays for him. I mean, holy crap! When the son is playing and he looks like a grown man, maybe it's time to move on. Renee Rainbow It's scary how older women in Hollywood do to themselves to stay in the game. You know what? It's horrific. And I'll tell you something, just in case, man, just in case, right? Just in case I may become an influencer at some point, right? I may end up an influencer at some point. People may actually listen to me. Years from now, they may be saying, "Hey, remember when Tommy said this, this, or this?" Look at the women in Hollywood who allowed themselves to just age, huh? They're some of the most beautiful women in the world. The ones that just said screw it and let themselves get older, man. Chasing all of that stuff down, it does not make you look younger. I mean, if it makes you happy, do it. But for the love of God, man, I think that we unfortunately because of the silver screen and because of magazines and billboards and all of that crap, we put a really hard premium on youth. And it's not even youth, right? It's like freaking pre-youth. They put this premium on 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm here to tell you that there are women in their 60s and 70s and 80s that are piping hot, right? Dench, what's her first name? Is it Judy Dench? I'm sorry, man. That girl's hot. Ice Autumn. Yeah, Stallone looks good, doesn't he? Kathy Loves Horses says, I feel for you guys. I'm so glad we don't have tornadoes in Australia. Well, that's very kind of you. And it's right. You do not have tornadoes in Australia. Everything else there can kill you, right? Everything. Trees. They got trees over there that can kill you. I'm not playing. You can look this up. Hey, Just Pauline, good to see you. Judy, what's happening? Patty Collins. B. Hendricks. Christy Brinkley is smoking. She's aged well, to be sure. Christy Brinkley has aged really, really well. I earned every gray hair and wrinkle. I love that. There's a really great spot. Occasionally you'll see it, and they're interviewing these couples that are really, really old and that have been together and really a long time in their relationships. Some of the things that the people say, like, it just puts a lump in your throat. They were interviewing this guy, and he said they showed a picture of his wife, black and white. She's just a dish. I mean, just the hottest. And he looked at it and he goes, "Yeah, I don't know how I could have possibly fallen in love with you when you look like that." He said, "Your face had no character to it at all." He said, "Seriously, there's not one line on it. There's not one smile line, no wrinkle." He said, "That face has no character." And I thought, that's a great line. I fought again for years. Just in the last year, I realized I was fighting reality and trying to embrace every flaw. You know what? There is nothing wrong with embracing your flaws. Susan Lynn says, huge spiders and gigantic gross worms in Australia. Well, don't stop there. Don't stop there, right? I mean, I know all of you have seen, what do you call it? Jamie Lee Curtis looks amazing. I know you've all seen when Sylvester thinks that he's got the very large mouse that he's trying to go and get. It's not a mouse, right? It's a kangaroo coming in from Australia, but a very small one. And of course, Sly thinks it's a mouse, and he gets the crap kicked out of him by it. It's always a fun deal. But when you go over there, there are really roos like just everywhere. They really are. They're freaking everywhere. Blew me away. I remember the first time I went over there, I was like, holy hell. I kind of figured maybe they would be in zoos or whatever, but you just see them chilling around town. Really kind of blew me away. Yeah, you know something? Flaws. Wait till you guys look. We really are going to do everything within our power. I most assuredly am going to do everything within my power. Sweet Liberty and LeBone's Creations. Lori Lee, good to see you. I really want to meet as many people from the boat as I possibly can. When you meet me in real life, you will get a real appreciation for just how freaking scarred up I am. Right? I mean, I really am torn up. And when you when you see me in person, you'll see it, especially if it happens to be, if you catch me in the wintertime and I'm very, very white, you won't notice it. But in the summer, when I start to tan up, all of my scars stay white. And I've the tomcat that comes in and he's missing a chunk of ear and the tail's a little bit shorter and there's a patch of fur missing. Yeah, yeah, that's me. To be sure. Kangaroos are built, says Catalina. They'll kick the crap out of you for real. Prayers for Lori Lee, please. Why, thank you, Kathy. You know what? I had a great time visiting with you. I really did. You should see her son dance. It would blow you away. I literally stopped caring what anyone thinks when I turned 50. I have some additional menopause pounds, a good bit of gray, and some laugh lines, and I do not care. Allison, I love you. I really do. I love you. Um, you just do get to a point where, you know, and if that person is out there that you're really supposed to be with, they don't love you in spite of your flaws, right? They love you because of your flaws, because your brand of crazy fits their brand of crazy, right? For real. So, that's how it's supposed to work. Your crazies complement each other. Huh? I think you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You guys are smart. You know what I'm talking about. And I don't know where my phone is. That's right. Those are not scars. They are lessons that you failed to learn. Slow learner. Damn straight. They are definitely, that's exactly what they are. Yeah, you know what? Her boy did have a really good time with my head. That's young young kids, kids have zero inhibitions. If you're bald, kids absolutely freak out on your head. Like they have absolutely the first thing every kid wants to do is just go up and go like this and grab your head. And it doesn't feel like they think it's gonna. And usually they don't want to move their head from their hand off your head for the rest of the day. It's one of the cutest things you've ever seen. But I've seen it, I can't tell you how many times. If you're bald and in the audience, you can probably relate. Chris says, in the summer, you turn back into a brother. Uh, it's that black blood transfusion. 1% makes you black. So they say, I'll tell you what, I got way more than that. I've told that story on the boat before, and it's a long story, but I did get a good size blood transfusion once. I started bleeding and I was bleeding inside. Uh, I had to. I drove a truck myself. I drove to the emergency room. This was in Texas, and not to get gross or whatever, but I could literally feel myself filling up. Like it was a really bad scene, and I passed out before I got in there. And I used everything they had in my blood type, right? And they're trying to patch it, and they're putting it in as fast as it's going out, literally. And they had to get some orderlies. They had to get some phlebotomists. They had a bunch of people donating blood because I was leaking like mad. I mean, they had to put about 3 times the normal amount of blood in your body in because it literally was just coming out as fast. And they're trying to. It was ugly. But when it was all said and done, and I was in there resting, this dude came walking in, and he goes, "Hey, how you feeling?" I said, "I feel great." He goes, "Are you craving fried chicken at all?" And I go, "No, not really." And he goes, "Are you in the mood for any Aretha Franklin?" I go, "Usually." I said, "I'm kind of an Aretha Franklin fan." He goes, "Because you got some of my blood." He goes, "So I hope you're not racist." I said, "Hell no. In fact, I'm a blood brother with a black guy. We're cool." What's most important is that you're healthy, your loved ones are healthy, and everyone is safe. That's all that matters. The rest will work itself out. I love it, analytical Blarney. I really do. Miss Dragon says, I'm 3% sub-Saharan African. I love it. I love it. Oh, I am a miracle. There's no question. The number of times that it just shouldn't have worked out, I swear to God, man. Well, you can read the book. It should be out. Maybe I'm not supposed to say that. Or maybe Johnny already has. I don't know. But My understanding is that you should probably be able to buy it the first week in October. I'm pretty sure that's what I've been told. We get our issues out, and then we work to make the day fun and full of laughter. Well, you know what? There's a recipe right there, right? I mean, we do what we can to keep everything as happy as possible. Why, thank you, Kathy. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that on the squirrel cam? Every once in a while, you just have to hold her foot and the end of her tail as well. She really likes it if you can hold her tail so that she can clean the end of it. You know, as a cat, she can't really hold the end of her tail. Oh, you're such a good kitty. What a good girl. The if you saw the other the cat in the basket videos, the first one where Squirrel sits up. Of course, it isn't this basket. We had to replace the little basket because Squirrel got to be a great big heifer, and we had to put her into a larger basket. But when she was still in that small one, and I went to pick her up, and she stood up in it, man, she was like this tall. She's an itty bitty little kitty. Hey, Ray Ray. Yeah, the clouds. Well, we already had what was you could call. I mean, we had a really rugged storm. I don't know if you want to call it a monsoon, but we had a pretty ugly downpour here a minute ago. Well, half hour, 45 minutes ago. Kathy loves horses. Sweet tea. What's happening? Oh, Sweet Tea says, thanks to the Lifeboat crew members that read and responded to my Facebook post about my son today. I felt the love and support. Don't you love that? I really love hearing stuff like that. Hey, Kiwi Nan. 18-pound tortie. Wow, that's a big kitty. Squirrel Nut Zipper's not even close to that. I don't think she breaks 13. I think she's probably right in the 9 to 10-pound range. Hello, Yadira. How are you? Susan Lynn, good to see you. Is my swimming pool warm water? My swimming pool is bath water. I would imagine that the pool water's got to be somewhere above 85 degrees, right? Somewhere between 85 and 90, somewhere in that. Yeah, it's very, very warm. Pebble says, wish you all a lovely night or day wherever you are. Doesn't that sound like, what's his name? Coast to Coast AM. Good evening, good morning, wherever you may be. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. Torties are the best. I'm biased. I'm a little biased myself. How old is Squirrel? Well, I got her at about 3.5. That's how old she is now. She should be about 3.5. When I got her, she was 6 months old. Art Bell. There you go, Art Bell. Please keep me in your thoughts, says Becky. Let's see what we got here, Beck. Please keep me in your thoughts for tomorrow is 2 years. Dave will be gone, probably going to be in bed all day, except to take care of what I have to. Thank you much. Becky, that's really hard. Everybody hear that? I'm going to put this up. That is really, really hard. And, you know, I feel like every time somebody says something like this, right, where the right thing to say is take care of yourself. And that, you know, it's going to be a really hard day. And if you got to spend the day in bed, that's what you got to do. But the guy that sits in this chair, right, the Admiral, just can't bring myself to say that. So here's what I'm going to say, Becky. It's really hard. 2 years. First of all, it hasn't even been enough time to set in for real. I'm working on 3 years since I lost my best friend, and it's and I'm not even close to dealing with it yet. But, and this is to everybody, on days, hello Diane, on days that we really feel like the world is going to kick our butt and we know it's coming, the absolute worst thing we could do is lay in bed. For real. Your physiology directly affects, right, how you feel. It really does. And if you can get up and move around, it will change your how you feel. You got banned from YouTube? I never really knew why. Found out because apparently because of saying things negative against. No way. Really? Well, Vivian, don't say anything negative anymore, right? We don't want to see you get taken away. Jody, who? Good to see you. Hello, Evie. Well, you know what, too? If they're taking people off of YouTube for that, they're going to be busy because there's a lot of people saying a lot of really negative stuff. I'm hoping that we're all going to rise above that, right? Have you guys tried DMSO for topical pain? It's a go-to. Research it. I know what it is. I have never tried it, but I do know what it is. Miss Dragon, please be careful. And now that I'm concerned, can you just text me and keep me in the loop, please, sister? If you don't mind. And Becky, please don't hate me for saying that. Please don't hate me for saying that. But get up that day. Get up that day to honor him, right? Even if you just come over here and come on the lifeboat and curse at me, you can get up and say, Tommy, you're a jackass. I got out of bed for this. How's that? I'll laugh. I'll give you a good chuckle on it. I saw an article about Jamie Lee Curtis. She got a minor plastic surgery on her eyes and ended up struggling with opioid addiction for 10 years. She's 25 years clean and no plastic surgery. Yep. I have read about that as well. She was super open about it. Really open and really honest about every aspect of that. She is also one of the first people to come out and say, you will never airbrush another picture that I am in for the rest of my life. And I think that is absolutely incredible for someone at her level in Hollywood and with the success that she's had and to be an icon who, let's face it, is a lot of, she's an excellent actress, but she's known for having a smoking body, right? She showed it off in a couple of films, did a really erotic dance in one film. And in 48 hours, she played a prostitute in 48 hours with, not 48 hours, but Trading Places. And boy, oh boy, got a great boob scene in that. One of the best of the 1980s, if I may say so. Just going to weigh in on that. Tommy, thank you for your live last night. Today in a row, I've gotten my water in one step at a time. I love it. I love it. True lies. Thank you. Harm reduction. Right? Little steps moving forward every single day. If you guys missed that from yesterday, please go back and check it out. Right? It's a big one. It really is. Scream Queen for her early horror flicks. Was she not in the first Halloween? Wasn't she the first person that Michael Myers has been trying to kill her the entire time I've been alive? Am I wrong on this? Somebody back me up. And she's married to the guy from Nigel Tufnell from Spinal Tap. Isn't she married to Spinal Tufnell? True Lies was great. I agree with you. True Lies was good. Wow. Cricket says she met Jamie Lee Curtis, and she said she's an amazing human. When I met her, she was really lovely to me when she had no reason to be. I was working retail. I'm used to being treated like crap. You know something? It's a good point. Honestly, it's a great time to say something about this because we do it by accident. We do it without even thinking about it. You know, a waiter or a waitress comes up to the table and goes, hey, can I get you guys something to drink? And you go, yeah, Pepsi for me. Dude wants a Budweiser and a Corona with a lime. And you basically demand what you want, the pleases, the thank yous. It's something about quibs. Every single time somebody comes up to the table, boy, within a couple of minutes, she's going to be best friends with whoever came up. And she's going to ask them all kinds of questions. And good ones. I mean, she gets very into the process. I think it's very much a part of the entire experience for her. And I think that's cool as hell. I really do. Because too many people in the service industry do get absolutely looked through, looked over, looked past. It's pretty ugly. Thank you to all who don't do the unhealthy thing by burying your trauma mess and addictions deep down. Keep bringing the sunlight. Keep talking. Analytical Blarney, that is awesome. Great advice. Shelly Kelly says, Christopher Guest. Sir Christopher Guest. If I am not mistaken, that is Sir Christopher Guest. And I love that they're still together. They've been together a really long time. Yeah, Spinal Tap, Ben. You know Spinal Tap, don't you? Big fan. Greetings from Cape Town. Off to bed with me. Nearly time to wake up again. Nighty night. Sleep tight. Marcel, thank you so much for spending time with us. Love everybody from that part of the world. For whatever reason, we got a really big contingent of people in that part of the world. I love that. I think I bought my last pack of cigarettes today. I'm down to a pack every 3 days. Wish me luck. Lori Hart, do you hear this, people? She's down to a pack every 3 days. If someone is saying down to, you know what that is, right? That's successful harm reduction. On the way to buying her last pack of cigarettes, right? If in the very first day she went, all right, I'm done. I'm just going to throw this pack out right now. I'm not going to smoke one more cigarette. This is it. I'm done. Guarantee you'd have bought another pack. Probably thrown that one out, done it again. We've all done this. Anybody that's ever tried to quit smoking has done this. I love the idea of saying, I'm not setting myself up for that kind of BS, right? Failure. I'm just going to start the process of being healthier every single day, right? Every day. Suzanne Lynn says, I saw her at the pony rides years ago with her kid. She's a nice person. I love it. With harm reduction, I've lost 15 kilograms so far and counting. Started with very low fat due to health reasons, and now bike 3 to 4 kilometers a day. Such an excellent concept. Kiwi, how cool is that? Huh? I hope everybody's fired up to hear that. That is the coolest thing I've ever heard. People, that's a ton of weight, man. That really is. That's a ton of weight. For those of you who live in the United States, who never did get into the whole drug game, you're looking at like, what is that? 34 pounds, something like that. That's a lot of weight. That is a lot of weight. Really proud of you. And I hope you're proud of yourself. Sweet Liberty says, I met Elvira once. Super nice lady. She's got an excellent set of lungs on her. I've heard her sing before. I know what you thought I was going to say, you pervs, but that's not where I was going with that. I mean, she does have great boobs. I go Friday to get IV fluids to see if it helps my kidneys. Very dehydrated, plus my AC quit working, and it was 85 in my house. Plus, I get a PET scan coming up because some concerned areas. Thanks, Tommy. Becky, it sounds like there's a lot on your plate. Nikki Never In. Good to see you. Becky, I know you got a lot on your plate and it seems overwhelming and ugly, right? However, and as much as this is going to sound like one of those cliches that makes people want to just go nuts, this too shall pass. And the reason I say it is because as long as I've been doing this, I have watched people in situations where I swear to you, I'd be on the phone working with people or we Skype and they hang up and I sit and think to myself, how the hell is this person going to get through this? Like for real, how do they get up tomorrow morning? Some really rugged stuff. To have those people call me at about 11 the next day and say, you know what, I'm going to make it, right? I'm going to get through this, whatever this was. And for some people, it was the realization that they're not going to get through this, right? They're finding out that this is the end of their battle, no matter what happens. And I don't know whether I should say I've had the honor. I mean, it's sad as hell, but I have had the honor now to talk to 3 or 4 people from the lifeboat who have been in that exact position and have learned so much from those people. It's amazing. Yeah. Sorry, people. That one. Somebody say something funny. Hey, Monk. Good to see you, bud. How are you, Monk? Glad that you're here. Sorry about that, people. Um, we're we're going to be having a party here, um, which is cool. We're going to be having a party here on the lifeboat, and the purpose of the party is going to be to celebrate the fact that we've been doing this now. August 1st, we're going to be starting the beginning of the fourth year in business, right? So 3 years is about 3 full years, which is part of me goes, holy crap, it's only been 3 years. And the other part of me goes, 3 years is a really, really long time. But the as I've been reflecting back and looking at all the shows and all of the things, I I realized just how many people we've lost. We after we lose somebody and we kind of mourn, and then we talk about them to sort of help us cope with it, and then the next thing you know, you're doing it again, and it seems honestly, it's like you start to lose track. But as I've been getting ready for the anniversary of the boat, it's we've lost a lot of really great people. We really have, but we have saved crapload of really great people as well. Real talk. We have Missile Smokes. Good to see you. Mary Gonzalez. Good to see you. We've really got a lot of people onto medical assisted treatment, and a lot of people who are creating waves throughout the world. There are people starting their own channels, people doing their own meetings, and in general, just taking the message of connection to a bigger audience. And we really, no joke, need to take this to a bigger audience, right? I think everybody can see that. Vixen, I am too. Vixen says, I'm grateful for this boat. Me too, man. I really am. I am so thankful for it. You know what, Brazy? Those I wouldn't trade any of them. Honest to God. Every time you lose somebody, it's like getting kicked in the stomach. Yeah, I mean that's the same for everybody. But in every single case, they were amazing, amazing people that I'm a better person for having known. Real story. I appreciate all the crew members on board, Vixen. Good call. I do as well. Absolutely no two ways about it. Not a girl, Scoob. Kathy says 3 years of connection, support, and love that lasts forever. Yeah, and been just it's been a really steady group of people coming and going. And you know what? It's really kind of the design, right? I mean, people come in here and figure out a lot of times what they need to do, and then they kind of re-enter into society, and it's cool because they pop back, and it's really exciting when people pop back in that you haven't seen in 7 or 8 months, and they come in and say, "I'm killing it." Right? Just put a down payment on a house, or just got engaged, and you just hear some of the best stories. And truthfully, without everybody here, man, this doesn't happen. It's not one of those things that hosts say to make it sound like you guys are really important. This is no joke, right? Without all of you and without the generosity of everybody here, and the fact that you show up and watch these videos, most videos on YouTube run about 8 minutes, right? But not very long. Most videos are very, very short. That may come as a shock to most of you, because I think most of my audience watches way more long form content than they do short form content. But that's not the vast majority of people on earth. The vast majority of people on earth are not watching 1, 2, and 3 hour shows. They don't have the attention span for it. For real. We're an unusual crew. But the nice thing about that is when you get into 1 hour, 2 hours, you start thinking 8 minutes, right? 8, 16, 24. You just start, it starts racking up. When people come here and watch everything, it really does help. It really, really does help. Well, I thank you, Kathy. She says, Tommy, milestones and memories that wouldn't have ever happened or have ever been were because of this boat. You know what? And Dale says, I know the boat saved me from drowning in a 50-year-old bottle. I love that. I really do. I love that. And you know what else? Mary Gonzalez is right. If you are here and you're trying, you're a success. And I got news for you. I got news for you. If you try today and you make it a week or 2 weeks and then you stumble and fall and you get all pissed off and I blew my sobriety, miss me with that. Your date of sobriety should start today, right? You shouldn't be able to get off the hook for your relapse and then just start from scratch, wipe off the chalkboard and say, we'll start again. No, you quit on January 1. So you had a relapse on February 1st. Write down everything that happened. Journal the hell out of that. Make it a great relapse so you don't have to journal about it ever again, right? But let's say you get to the end of the year and you don't do anything else, right? You don't say, well, my sobriety date is February 1st. No, it's not. No, you decided to quit drinking on January 1 and you screwed up once, right? Didn't do it for more than a day, one stumble. And if you say it like that, people will go, if someone goes, well, then you're really not sober 2 years, you have my permission to open hand them in the ear as hard as you want. If you tell somebody, I was sober for a decade, and I had 9 beers one day, or I drank a full bottle one day, got absolutely shaffazed one day, and then I woke up the next day and said, what am I doing? And I got right back to meetings and doing exactly what I'm doing. So in the last 20 years, I just had that one stumble. And if someone goes, oh, then you're 10 years sober, then that person's an asshat and they should not be in your life. For real. Anybody that would feel the need to point that out is an asshat, and you should have nothing to do with them. Nat B says, I love watching trials. Definitely long form. Oh, God, yeah. You know what, Dale? I'm glad that that everyone was here for you on Sunday night. I really am. Oh, Boudica says, my 92-year-old mom is dying today. I have just had my last talk with her. I said everything I had to, and it felt great. I feel fortunate to have had that chance. Not everyone gets that. Wow. That's I'm so happy for you. I really am. I got that opportunity. You know that? Straight up. I had that with my dad. In fact, I doubled back. He told me that this was the last day that we were ever going to speak. And after I hung up, I thought, if he's right, I'd like to talk to him again. And I called back and we had one more conversation. And that was and then that was the end, But you're right. It's such a gift. It is such a gift to have the opportunity to say what you want to say to a loved one. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, beautiful thing. You most assuredly are blessed. And if I were you, I know I'm beating the crap out of a dead horse. I know what you're going to say, Tommy. Go write about it. Go journal about it while it's in your head. Go put this down on paper. Get the thoughts out of there and onto paper. It's not even about the paper. It's about getting these things organized in a much better way. This is a heavy day. This is a heavy day. Don't just throw that in there haphazardly, man. Get that stuff organized. Just write it down and let your brain have a much easier time with it. I promise it's a good idea. I promise it's a good idea. Joy of Cat says, sorry to change subject. Is Reese okay? No videos for several days. I'm concerned, considering the threats and whatnot. Well, thank you, Joy of Cats. I know a lot of you have reached out to me privately, and then there's been a few people tonight that have asked in the chat about Reese. Reese is my partner over on Cults and Crims. We do a show over there. If you're brand new to the boat and you don't know who we're talking about, have another channel called Cults and Crims, where I am half of a two-person team, and my partner's name is Reese Quibell or Quibs, and more than my partner, I love her, right? For real, I love her, and I'll be honest, it's such a hard thing because of what we do for a living. Because I don't want anybody worried about Reese. So I will say to you, you got nothing to worry about. Okay. But as to the rest of it, if there's a reason that Reese isn't going live, that she's going to want to tell you about it. And it's not my place to do that, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to be evasive or anything else. It's just that I got a mad amount of respect for my partner, and she's articulate as hell, and she's got, two platforms that she can talk about that on. But I will tell you right now that if she wasn't all right, I wouldn't be in this state. I'd be on my way to her. But she's all right, and she'll put some content up. I will tell you this: you don't have to worry about that. If nothing like that happens, you're good. I promise. I do have her covered. You have my word. In Carnosol, she is. She's one of the toughest people I've ever met. Does not always necessarily mean that the person is not got a really big heart. Maybe I don't know that it always comes through, but I see it when no one's around. And yeah, she's pretty special for real. Cat in a basket. Make sure you've hit the like. Squirrel the diva needs the adoration. You're damn right. See, Kathy Ann gets it. This cat runs on adoration. Teacher nurse says, I didn't make it only eating for 8 hours today, but I made it in 10. Hey, do you remember me saying this? I said this last night. Set your target. And if you miss your target, who cares? Because you're still coming in under that harm reduction, right? You're still coming in. You are making tracks going forward. Now you're going to write about this. Why? Because a success that we write about, right? We're starting a success loop. Do you understand? We're starting a success loop. This is going to be a nonstop thing that actually begins to feed your success. It actually begins to propel your success. You start getting stoked about what you're doing. Why? Well, because we've never felt success before. We really haven't. Right? Maybe in really small doses. But if we did, it wasn't because we set a goal, we wrote it down, and we did it. I promise it's not our style. I mean, I'm playing the numbers, one or two of you maybe. But for the most part, our default setting is failure. Our default setting, the reason we feel uncomfortable in our own skin is because we're not used to winning. We're not used to hitting it out of the park and doing all of those things. It just doesn't happen. Well, it starts now. So you got to the 10-hour mark. Fantastic, teacher nurse. Fantastic. Now, don't go over that 10. And if you got to stay at that 10 for a week to level your body out, or if you got to stay there 8-10 days to level your body out, start to also try to put in a little bit of movement, start to remove some of the beverages, sugary beverages, replace 1 a day or 2 a day with water, right? This starts the process. And pretty soon you're going to be popping up there. Hey, Tommy, I've lost, boom, or I'm moving this much more, or I'm doing this. Renee Rainbow says, the only long content I usually watch is Tommy and Reese. Well, you know what? It's pretty much the only long form I watch too. I'm kidding. I watch Surviving the Survivor a lot. I really do. But I don't have this much time as I used to. I used to watch a lot of YouTube. I really did. But I don't have the time that I used to. We got quite a bit going on, and I will say this. We will always tell you what's going on if we're in a position to tell you what's going on. And if it's my story to tell, I will always tell it. But if it's not my story to tell, but she's safe to be sure, right? But there are jackasses out there, right? There's been some threats. I would be lying to you if I said there weren't. There's been chatter. We've heard some of it, but it is what it is. But she's incredibly safe where she's at. Don't trip, I promise. I don't know where I would be without this type of advice. It is life-changing. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Jimena. I'm so glad that you're here. I really am. West Coast Nancy, Fancy Nancy, I really would like to I would really like to be very respectable. I would really very much like for Reese to never feel like I want her to feel like she's my girl, but I don't want her to feel like she's my girl. Like she's got to answer to me or she's got to, you know, any of that crap. I know a lot of people are saying, you know, she should really be able to take, 2 years or 3 years to get to. Have any of you ever read anything about like cults and deprogramming and right? Have you ever read any of the books on that stuff or any of the articles that have ever been written? You know what the gold standard is pretty much considered counseling after someone's been in a cult? They recommend 6 months, right? 6 months of counseling for every year the person was in the cult. 6 months of counseling for every year that you were in. Do the math. 36 years, what's half of that? 18? So she's going to need about 18 years of counseling and therapy just to get over the BS that the cult of Scientology put her through. So if it's all the same with you all, I'm not going to wait 18 years, right? But I'm trying to do this in such a way that she has as much time and space and everything else that she needs. And I think that's important. I really do. Oh, by the way, she and I are getting along fine. It's not an issue either. That's a fact. I promise you. Beloved, says Zell Bowman, not property. Damn right. People, I don't think this is going to come as a shock to any of you, but a lot of us have been privy to hearing some recordings, right? So we have a pretty good idea of how she's been treated in the past, right? I just don't intend to. I just don't intend to ever pile onto that, right? Her dad was an epic piece of shit, and then she didn't have a whole lot of luck with the next incarnation of having an opportunity for someone to be kind who wasn't. I won't bother saying his name. Don't want him calling any of his friends any of these platforms. Giggity. Thank you, Humana. It's very, very kind of you. It really is kind of you. And you know what? It's funny. People, a lot of times I get people who say, you know what? I'm so glad that you found her. You know what I mean? You really have done so much. Someday, when I'm old, someday when we have enough time, and this is all blown over, and everybody can sort of calm down and take a deep breath, and we can get back to just being silly and stupid. Quibs and I will tell you the whole story of prior to me going out to visit her. If one of us got saved by the other, I don't know that I'm the one that was doing the saving. That's true. It's a true story too. Hateration Nation. I pay your tax. You're welcome. Analytical Blarney. Thank you so much. You are funny as hell. You really are. Now buzz right the you know what off. Dig it. Dig it. Kathy Ann, 2 months in green. When drama calls, we send it to, okay, packet. Much love. Analytical Blarney again said YouTube just took 30% of that other third wheel. There you go. People, too funny. Chat, just a reminder, you are loved. I read this one. You are loved, valued, and wanted by many. Thank you for being the most amazing chosen family on these YouTube streets. You know what? The term chosen family, God, I hope that gets legs. I really do, man. That honestly, like if I could choose a legacy, maybe that would be it, right? I would love for that to catch on and for it to be something that we really get people to understand the concept of. So that when people say that stupid, hackneyed cliche line, well, you can't choose your family, I want everyone there to go, why not? course you can. Don't be stupid. Of course you can, right? Of course you can. Go ahead. Give it a try. You'll love it. Pick you out some brothers, some sisters. You'll dig it. Trust me. Because chat GPT says journaling is a good idea and has considerable booger flicking advice. Yeah, no question. Thank you, Bacon Bits. Anna Banana says, woohoo, 4 months. Time flies when you are green. You're looking great too. What's most important is that you're feeling healthy, you're loved, the ones are healthy, and everyone is safe. That's all that matters. The rest will work itself out. How beautiful is that? People, honest to God, you can read that and sit down, cross your legs all lotus style, right? Put your hands like this. That's it. That's it right there. I mean, is it not? And I think, honestly, if whatever you're claiming is as a religion or a spiritual guide, I almost feel like all of it could fit right into that, right? You know, it doesn't really matter whichever one I look at. It's always the same stuff. It really is. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? Don't hurt the littlest among us, right? Respect kids, respect the elders. Some really basic stuff, right? For real, and all of them. This is a recurring theme. Doesn't matter which religion you pick, that aspect of it goes through every single one of them. So why can't we do that? Right? Forget all the other stuff. Forget all the other stuff that we want to fight about. Since every one of them says you should treat others how you want to be treated, because I promise you they all say that. Why don't we just try for that? That's highfalutin. That's what that is. Thank you all who don't do the unhealthy thing by burying your trauma, mess, and addictions deep down. Keep bringing them to sunlight. Keep talking. Sunlight is the ultimate disinfectant. Make no mistake. Just because you are the man, brother, says Jason P. Jason, I love you, man. I really do. You make the boat a better place. I mean that. Kristen Melinda, member for 7 months. She said, where did 7 months go? It's really an interesting question because I'll tell you something, Kristen Melinda. Here I am. I swear to you, in my head, I'm going, she had to have been here like a year before she bought a membership. I'm not joking you. When I looked up and saw 7 months, I thought, you didn't buy a membership when you first got here, did you? Because you've been here a lot more than 7 months. I'm not being a smart aleck. I'm being dead serious. I know you've been here more than 7 months. I mean, I know that I'm losing time and all that's happened, but I know you've been here more than 7 months. Back me up on this, Kristen Melinda. You know I'm right. Net B from Canada, member for 9 months. Time flies when you're having a good time. And you know something, people? We talked about it way back in the day. Let's be honest, you don't get a ton from memberships. You get some cool emojis and you get to know that you're helping people, but you haven't gotten a lot. And because of Spanky coming in and doing what he has done, we've been able to do a little reshuffling. One of the other reasons that we never really pushed a lot of member content is because we're the lifeboat. And to put something up that we restrict someone else from seeing seems so disingenuous that it's just, you know what I mean? Like, I think this stuff is life-changing, but you didn't give me $1.99. I think that would be a really weird thing, don't you think? But since you guys are just supportive and awesome and everything else, I do really dig the idea of the Zoom call that Quibs has done for her group over on her channel. So I think we're going to be putting together 1 or 2 of those Zoom calls a month so that you can at least get on and we can all see each other. And Quibs did it for about 3 hours. They really had a good time. She was telling me all about it. And I heard it from a couple of other people who were there. It really was fun. I would love to do that on the boat. And we're going to put something like that together. But I do want you to know, I love you guys. I really do. It's absolutely amazing to me just how much this crew has come to mean to me. I can confirm I lurked for some time prior to the 7 months. Thank you, Kristen Melinda. I literally would have gone insane if you didn't say that because I know you've been here. I don't want to say what because it would involve me saying names of other people and everything else. but I have one of the conversations the first time I emailed you is tied to something else in my life. And I know it was more than 7 months ago. I know it was. I know it. Why, thank you, Yadira. Thank you to everyone. People, guess what? Even though you have had this cute cat in a basket the entire show, I'm going to give you a little cat in a basket anyway. You know, gonna give you a little cat in a basket anyway. And somebody sent a message that did toe beans, right? On my video. Did you guys see this? Toe beans, toe beans, toe beans, toe. Done to Jolene, done to the same tune as Jolene, but singing toe beans for cats. Absolutely one of the funniest things ever. I actually walked around singing it for a lot of the day. Becky says, have to thank Aaron for you and Reese meeting, at least I believe. I don't know that we would have met without Aaron. I think that's probably a safe bet. I am the Admiral. That right there, that's a cat in a basket. And if you weren't sure, that is a cat in a basket. Look at that thing. Oh, look at those paws. All right. The consummate professional. The consummate professional. And now she will go get spoiled like no other, because that's how I roll around here. All righty, people. I'm the Admiral, and we will see you on the next one. Between now and then, reach out and try to save somebody. God bless.